Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mushida Said, co-founder of Love and Respect Transform Holdings, and also business partner together with Zil Zainuddin. As you know, some of you who have interacted with us in the past, we are all about love and respect, including love and respect the environment, love and respect the planet, and love and respect the creatures on the planet as well, right? So I'm so grateful and very honored to have Nazzer Hamzah, the founder of Cangkul Zen Private Limited from Singapore, who does all of these things, who is loving the environment and showing us how to really take care of the environment and also making it sustainable and why is it so important. So everybody please welcome Nazzer Hamzah. Yay! And Nazzer, can you please share with us like why did you start your business? Tell us your journey from before you started your business until what caused you to start your business.
Sure. I guess one of the main driving force is basically I'm actually an IT technology uh, freak, so to say, that just see things has to be done in a very structured and proper way. The turning point is basically when I have my own children and my children start going to school. Right now I have 5 children, right? So when I first started having one or two child myself, I see that they're deprived of having the opportunity to be happy and what I normally see as being kids, right? They're not exposed to nature. So that's actually one of the driving force. I started looking at ways on sustainability, how growing and the challenges of this conventional growing, right? Always have a bit of a conflict in that. So I stumbled upon this technology called or the concept of permaculture, where basically it's mimicking nature and really reliving back to how nature progressed. And the best thing about that is coming from an IT and technology perspective, it's very structured, it's very sustainable, and it's very much utilizing the efficiency-ness of that. So that just triggered me off. Did a first 3 years, should I say, testing. After having this permaculture for 2 weeks course in KL, with a group of people, we have a project called Urban Hijab in KL, where we transform 1 acre of land, supposed to be a housing estate, change into a community farm, and get the excitement and the belief in doing so. So having to travel, I'm from Singapore, traveling to go there alternate weeks to and fro. Think have a discussion with my wife and say, why not you do it in Singapore? So having that ability and support from my wife, right? And yeah, and that's where Cangkul Zen is born.
Yeah. And as I share with us also, like why is it so important to have the kind of work that you do, especially right now?
Uh, I guess if you look at the current climate, COVID does comes to very important and highlight certain points. We are really seeing that if there's a change or a disturb in the supply chain, right? How are you going to be accessing the produce or the food that you be growing? So, example for Singapore, we depending so much. 90% of our produce comes from imported, right? How are we going to be pertaining or sustaining ourselves when we are not able to grow our own food? And as I mentioned earlier, permaculture provide that kind of systematic, sustainable, structured way where we actually can grow organic food just as efficient as like if having a production line of handbags and etc. So that's should I say that's the one of the driving force lah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then also share with us the kind of projects that you're currently running now, and how do you support people, and how do people become part of this your projects?
So, as per mentioned, I'm a father of 5. So I started with a being a parent support group as one of the excitement that I was able to go. So the school was originally looking at setting up a farm or a garden. There's no farm in Singapore that space. So that they actually give a place where it's actually on a concrete floor, right? So conventionally people say you want to grow something, you need to have soil, you have the land and etc. But we take on that challenge, so we transform that particular concrete slab and promote and create, rather sustainable, where they can grow um, tomatoes, papaya, some bit like chiku, and vegetables. And the kid themselves, when they grow, is part of their CCA, right, can actually benefit from them. And we get the parents themselves as part of parent support group to be involved. So that was one of the first thing, again, excitement from Urban Hijab to see that at least at the end of the day is actually the community, the children's nucleus for schools. We also have projects with nursing homes and some community gardens as well, where the heartbeat is basically we are Homo sapiens, right? As humans, we are natural creatures that need to communicate. And that's actually why it's such very important to do this communications and community-based focus.
That is so important, community-based focus, because only if you do it alone, you can only do so much, right? When it comes to a community. How often the work that you do, like are there, I know you are also one of the key people in Urban Hijau. Would you like to share a little bit about that as well? And from Singapore, what kind of activities do you do as well?
Yeah, so Urban Hijau is really a stepping stone and something like a milestone or a case study that was taken in and from there. So starting from practically ground zero flat terrain, we work with the nucleus where we are actually surrounded by people, community. And after 2 years of setting up, then we realized our neighbor is actually a kindergarten place. So we get programs such as visit the garden and do some hands-on workshop for the students. And we also partner with some of the nearby cafes where they actually want mint and herbs and etc. So we basically have a direct customer engagement. And then we leverage further, utilize the land, the space where people can come and do a hands-on exercise and etc. So use that and bring it to Singapore context where space is really a limitation. So we look like for schools where the heartbeat again is the programs where the students or the schools wants to forge a linkage between be it a classroom or out of the classroom, syllabus or non-syllabus wise. So that's actually been our strategy looking forward. But when we go for community, the focus is slightly different. What we want to do is basically to create somewhat like a homogeneous kind of kotong royong, that feeling of being in a village, right? You need to have a collaboration and synergization. So it's all about, at the end of the day, each gardens are different. You may grow the same product, the same produce, but what's the focus? So for schools might be more on getting the students as the nucleus and the parents to correlate and help. And also the school may focus on sustainability or characters like care, resilience, and etc. So it's very interesting at each of these projects surface to us.
Wow, very, very, very important, especially for children to be taught at a very young age on resilience and sustainability, right? And also caring for the environment. How do you see what? Let's say if somebody is not in Singapore, right? They are somewhere, say in Malaysia or in other parts of the world, and they're listening to you right now, and they say like, how can I start from where I am? What do I need to do? What would you suggest for
So
them?
yeah, it's a very good question. Thanks for that. And so this is where we again creating a new norm, right? Where COVID really opened up a lot of opportunities. Where we have today, especially in terms of you're in KL, I'm in Singapore, the sharing session happens in any shape and form. So online video sharing, so even like late video sessions is possible. So what we are intending to do is also to do something like a remote project management, remote consultancy, or even remote workshops, which can be done online. And some of the resources is basically very much in your household. So one of the things that we want to advocate is actually the use of recycling. And some of the concept that we use here is very much in terms of the being an eco-friendly or responsible citizens of the world. So we can start looking at boxes, we start looking at carton boxes, etc., right? Which we can start small, but yet very easy to do a possible small little mini projects. And the excitement will be very much when you're able to convert from nothing to be something. Yeah.
You know, when you say you can convert uh, from a nothing into something, I think I am one of those people who really resonate with that topic, because I work with entrepreneurs and business owners starting from ground up, how to create their visibility, their branding, and creating their 5-figure, 6-figure incomes. And it's so possible when you start somewhere, right? So this is something that I really love the work that you do also regarding this. Can you give some examples, or if you have any, if you're very welcome to share any visuals if you have also, about an example of how you created something out of nothing. Do you have that with you at the moment? We'd love to see that.
Sure, sure. I mean, there is a few of the projects that we have done, and some of the projects that I probably can entice, especially with this. Let me just share my screen, so that you will be able to see. And people say pictures speaks 1,000 words, right? Rather than just saying that. Okay, so this is actually the one that we have mentioned. So this is the school that was given to us. So you look at that. That's actually a concrete slab, and really this is where the school say this is the only area that we have that we want to grow. And what we did was actually the school, this is on the left side, that's the original conventional concept of gardening and etc. So very much boxy, right? You see these are boxes here, boxes there, and walkway and etc. What permaculture does is basically it converts that to be something like a walkway of continuous flow energy and resources that you can do. So what we do is we convert from a box to like circular and unshapely forms and etc. And it's scattered all over the place. And all of these have a purpose where it will complement each other. Very much the same, but at certain point you can even maximize the yield. So this is basically what we meant by from there to be something like this. And this is like a 2-year-old picture of this diagram. You see we are using newspaper, carton boxes, and bricks. These bricks are basically done up in less than 20 minutes by the parents as well as the students. And right now, it's actually done and managed by the student himself. So these are also the teachers involved. And one of the other areas that they're looking at is basically to get the community, some of the produce, they will share it across to the near home welfare, the older folks home as well. Another area that we basically very much keen and looking at is basically this concept called the effect, right? So youth is where we are looking at when we're talking about the students or the children. Possibilities are very much the highest potential. But what we fail to do is basically we are not giving them the possibilities. Inspiring the youth always needs to do a challenge of the current situation, like COVID, right? Hardly we can see this much interaction right now, but once the things are so-called a new norm, right? It's still possible to work on in between areas and etc. And when people talk about garden, it's about the maintenance. People need to have like at least 3 hours watering and etc. So one of the concept we do for permaculture, you basically water maybe every other day or even once every 3 days, and that is a concept that is being used. So there's a potential change in how kids will perceive farmers, right? Farmers, they will see a dirty, old, haggard, etc. But it can be very exciting. You can put on like this guy here, right? A young, trendy, put on a hat. That can become a presenter, can be an artist as well. So once we are able to change this transformation of inspiring the youth, that's where the commitment is. And that's what our envision is, to basically create a community of the new version of farmers where they're excited of, going, designing the garden, just like design a piece of paper. Yeah.
I'm muted, so sorry. Wow, I said that's amazing. Also many activities. And okay, Nazzer, tell us about the background of your screen right now. What is that?
So that's actually okay. Am I muted or not?
No, can hear
Okay,
you.
so that's actually the area where together with a partner of mine and also with Mushidan Zil, we want to create a committee called the Eco Village. And this Eco Village is a vision that we want to change the conventional farmer approach, where we are very much looking at diversity. Instead of having a flat piece of land and grow just corns or chilies, etc., we want it to be having also like lamb, chicken, goat, to even fish. And more importantly, right, you have the biodiversity. And most importantly as well, we can get people that are underprivileged to come and join with us. We can talk about refugees or the underprivileged families come in not just to work but also be staying in that particular area. As you can see, the place here is relatively very barren right now. But we are very excited because it's just a starting point of 25 acres. But we are having the opportunity to expand it to be 100 acres or slightly more. And we look for people that can actually come in and be part of that particular, journey of family.
I have been there. I have been there twice, and I love what I saw, especially the horses. And they were running around. There's one horse, Blanket, right, was running around on her own, and we rode her also. And then I saw there were goats, and then also there was a turkey. I saw a turkey. Yeah,
A
and
turkey
it
that
was
thought there's a goose, right?
the good. Yeah, that's right. Lots sheep as well, so it's a beautiful place, and water, and it's in very close to Singapore. It's in Desaru, and hopefully after this third MCO in Malaysia is over, we are planning to make a trip there. Actually, we wanted to take a trip there, bringing some other people as well over from KL. So we look forward to that opportunity, and we open to people outside of KL, in other parts of Malaysia. So just stay home right now, and when we can travel, let's go and visit Nazir's land there, with Nazir and Ashraf's land there. It's beautiful, and I'd love to be able to, wow, there it is. Yeah, do you want
So
to share a
again,
little bit? Mm.
yeah, so this is what we meant by start with nothing and do it with something. So conventional people think when raising or building a house, you need bricks, mortar, air conditions and etc. Right? So what we are basically looking here is they call it as the earth shape. The concept is not new, but rather we use waste, tires, bottles, even like plastic bottles, right? Convert it and can create this kind of house. And this house are fully ventilated with aircon, not say aircon, but airflow that feels when it's hot, but in that space you feel cold. When it's cold inside, it feels warm because of that rotations or the airflow. And one of the things that we was saying earlier, right, about that farm that we have. So it's not just a piece of land that you actually can use it to grow vegetables. We have a place that we can dedicate it to be a home, 100 by 100 meters area. I think it's very comfortable to even have a family of like myself, five children. Very near to your home, you will have your own vegetations or your animals that you can grow. Very sustainable. We're looking at having all kinds of inputs, even like solar panels, wind, hydro. So we don't really need to look at depend on the resources, right? Can be fully sustainable. But where the difference is basically is the community. So we are looking at where people are marginally, disabled or underprivileged, come into this particular community where they be part of a family where our vision is very simple. We know that the food is very important. Grow that food as sustainably and responsibly so we can create an organic, clean one. But then everybody have a part to play. We don't have farmers. We don't need just farmers. We need engineers. We need teachers. We need artists, etc. So these are people that we would like to welcome in. And besides that, we can open up the place where we can create resorts like eco hotel-like resorts. Imagine that's the the tiers there. So each of the tiers is about 2 meters. imagine every 2 meters you have like hobbit likes housing there and surrounded by vegetables where we can actually just pick, and that's your breakfast recipe out of your door or your window. Yeah.
I know, and it's such a beautiful dream, and I know it can happen because I've seen things happen from the ground up, from zero to creating something that is exponential. And yes, thank you so much, Nazir, for sharing your vision and also what you are currently doing right now in Singapore, and also your work in Malaysia and also around the world that you are also helping people. How can people learn from you, get to know you? Is there any upcoming projects that you have that people can get involved with, and how do they contact you?
Before that, I would just like to revisit again as what the point earlier, right, with regards to the current situation of COVID. This is actually a research done by Guardian and also information by United Nations. The warning is that in the next 50 years, right, there will come a food crisis and that the world have never seen before. And this was actually June 9, 2020 last year. And this year itself, as we can see, there's no really deteriorating in terms of the stability of COVID-19. So food is really a real situation that people are thinking. And when we talk about food supply, that's another thing. But food source is one thing, but food supply, if people can't import and export out of or into a country, the crisis will just get even worse, right? So this is basically where we're talking about the programs or the awareness. So one of the things that we really want to do is basically create like a community-based program and awareness, starting from Urban Hijab, Cangkul Zen, and then Desaru, right? We want to create a community where it can be accessible online, where offline right now on site is very difficult. So join in and visit our site cangkulzen.com or our Facebook and our Instagram, where this program can be showcased to you, and you can be very surprised of how much of information that people take things for granted is actually very much in a matter of kickstarting it to just your next what you call it habit. Just a little change in your activity can do a lot of difference.
Yeah. So people go to Cangkul Zen, is it the Facebook? How do they contact you and know all the upcoming projects?
Correct.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Cangkul
so
Zen.
let me just, yeah, Cangkul Zen, I think I'll have a slide that will just showcase
Hmm.
the connection that you can actually see from us. Yeah, so cangkulzen.com is basically the site that we have as well as the Facebook. Probably I'll just flash it. I'm just looking for that slide at the moment now. For those that's basically based in Singapore, which is where I am at the moment, we do have a weekend activities in one of our community garden at 10 Winstead Road, somewhere in the town actually that you can reach
Ah.
out. Yeah, in KL you can reach out to Urban Hijau. It's very much near to the PJ, where people can just go and visit. That's actually where Zale and Mushida have been exposed to.
It's in
Um,
Taman Tun. Yep.
Taman Datun,
Very near. Mm.
yeah. And then finally, it's basically in terms of where we are locating in Johor, which is Desaru. Right now, it's basically more on we still have the goat farm that's actually still very much open and available. So, as per mentioned earlier, right, just touch base with me on Facebook, which is actually via this link here and the website.
Okay, screenshot this, huh? Yeah, you see this? Okay, this at cangkulzen.com. Contact at info@cangkulzen.com and Facebook at cangkulzen. So you can get the information. And remember, this is something that Zil and I have always been talking about. You know, you've got to create your own income. You've got to create your own, have your own sustainability plan as well for your business, for your life at least. You know, so the food crisis is real. It has that those articles were not some from websites that was like unknown. Those of Bloomberg, right? You mentioned it was that
Yes,
Guardian and Bloomberg.
Bloomberg
Yeah,
and Guardian. Yeah.
and I think
Sorry. Just to change a bit, actually the email address, we have revised it to be high5@cangkulzen.com instead of
Oh, tukar.
so my apologies. So it's supposed to be high5. We still can be reachable, but high5 is actually our new link.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Okay, so high five it is. High five. All
Yeah.
right. So
So deprived.
yeah, and it's joyful, right? It's a high five is a very joyful energy. So
Yeah.
yeah, do get into this context and get to know, ask questions. The food crisis is real. Don't be one of those people who never knew what came up, not prepared, not knowing, or you're totally ignorant about what is really happening. So just prepare yourself. I mean, it's not like we're talking about doom and gloom. It can be joyful when you are prepared for things that are coming, because we embrace change. Change is happening, and there will be some things that happen with effect from COVID, right? COVID, what's happened in COVID and the effect it has into the world and the economy, the people and the planet. And all of us can play a part in terms of taking care of the environment, managing, and actually going, like what Nazzer is doing, is actually to create the solutions to handle things like what's coming, like the food crisis and any other financial crisis that are out there as well. Yeah. So when you are prepared and you are taking inspired action, and you are in a very joyful and happy community that actually looks at solutions instead of problems, right? There's so many things that we can do, and it doesn't have to be all doom and gloom, right, Nazir?
Yeah. I mean, just another what should I say, a mantra I've been keeping and really much looking into the high spirit is basically challenge ourselves to be a mad person,
Yeah.
right? Mad as if in make a difference to your life and make a difference to people around you. And there is something that we can do as an individual. But when we get together and start with a vision together as a community, and that's where the movement will come. And that's actually a very real and possible options and opportunities that we can always strive for. So be mad.
Absolutely. Yeah, be made, make a difference every day, right? Make a difference. And that's exactly what make a difference daily. That's what your mantra is. Yeah, yeah. So that being mad is something that we all can apply. And if we look at that and focus and do good things, there will be less negativity. You just do that and encourage other people in your surroundings to also do the same. Yeah.
And just like your mantra as well, love and respect. When you love the nature, when you respect nature, automatically it will repay you to triple, quadruple, returns without our imagination or in fact our expectation. So that's why I think it very closely embodies that. I can't echo that. The importance of love and respect. It's just embodies to be met.
Yes, yes, I so agree. Okay, thank you so much, Nazir, for sharing and giving not only knowledge and education, but also inspiration and solutions that people can take. And there's a lot of solutions that we can take. And thank you so much, Nazir, for showing and leading the way to show it is possible, because you're already doing it, right? So with that, thank you, everybody, and remember that to follow Cangkul Zen's Facebook, and also we'll send you the link for you to be updated with the Live a Legacy community's activities, so you can come and join the meetups, be inspired, know that there are solutions to any of the challenges that you face. Be in community. Let's all elevate one another together, and let's all spread love and respect in our own ways. Okay?
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
with that,
take
thank you
care.
so much, everybody. Take
Stay
care.
safe. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.